all benefit from oppression. Pretending you're not racist only makes racism grow.
To me, I think, and this is my hypothesis, some liberal, and I use the word some now, some liberal white women think they are the gateways to facilitate diversity and inclusion in the space of what we call life. I'm going to show you what you should do and how you should navigate these spaces. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to make this video not to prove a point, but just to explain where I get this hypothesis from about gender ideology and diversity and inclusion. And this stems from my last video that I did about a teacher where the cops were called on a teacher because she presented a book, This Book is Gay. That's the title of the book, to her class. My first instinct was kids, Bonner said, noting that many spoke of how her classroom was always a safe place. During a special board meeting where the district voted to accept her resignation, Bonner told the outlet how she tried to help students acclimate to bigger, more diverse spaces. You don't need to do that. You need to stay in your place. Let parents acclimate kids if they want to. If they want their kids to learn about different sexual orientation than within themselves, within their household, if they have two daddies and two mommies, let the parents teach them about that. Not the teachers shouldn't be like, oh, you need to be accepting, or this is going to happen in the whatever. You're opening up Pandora's box, and you're not the person that should be administrating those type of activities to the kids. If I'm in a safe place and I'm leaving, what does that do for our students, Bonner asked? What about the kids? Has always been a question rooted in everything I do. The why is it is always some liberal white woman, crazy woman, trying to put all this diversity and inclusion. And it's never diversity and inclusion in acceptance of who you are or what you identify ethnicity as. It's always diversity and inclusion on sexual orientation. Why is it? Can anybody answer that? I do not understand that. This is literally what I said. So, and then I had a comment. So someone commented, I understand and support your viewpoint, but I would appreciate if you refrain from making generalizations specifically about always a liberal white woman. While I agree with your overall sentiment, I believe it will be more effective to address the issue without focusing on race. As an elderly white man who identify as a libertarian, I observe individuals from both white and Black communities engaging in similar behaviors. I kindly request you consider looking beyond the color and embrace more inclusive perspective. So now we got a liberal white man trying to gatekeep. They're trying to gatekeep inclusivity. I'm laughing because although you shouldn't, and he's totally correct, you shouldn't generalize people. But this is what I see. This is my perceived notion. What I see that's happening. It's a reoccurring thing. Some liberal white woman. And I'm not saying all white women are like this. No, I don't think all white women are like this. I think some liberal white women are like this. And they're always pushing, you need to be more inclusive. You need to be more diverse. Even my other video, Joy Behar, and I stand corrected, a lot of people were saying, oh, no, Joy is not Jewish. She's Italian, I believe. She made a comment saying, Tim Scott and Clarence Thomas, they don't know what it is to be Black, and they don't know what systemic racism is.
Although he did say, when he said that he would vote for anything they put on the table, the Republicans. So he is not pro-choice. And he's one of these guys who, he's like Clarence Thomas, Black Republican who believes in pulling yourself by your bootstraps, rather than, to me, understanding the systemic racism that African Americans face in this country and other minorities. He doesn't get it, neither does Clarence. Right. And that's why they're Republicans. Yeah.
The audience laughed. What is wrong with pulling yourself by the bootstrap and doing the work? And literally, they're Black men. So my mind just blew up from that statement because these people are living in their skin. So what are you talking about? You have some extremists where you see Black women saying white women are evil. I mean, that's a strong statement. Like white women are evil. Like all white women evil.
It's truly amazing to me how fast the narrative changes. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. White women are one of the most dangerous groups in the United States and abroad.
And then I have another clip She's saying she's tired of being around white people.
Motherfucking HBCU. I can't be around white people any goddamn longer. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, you're in America, and it's like 60% white. So how can you avoid being around white people? Go live in the hood. This is a sickness where you're not proud of who you are. And like that video I explained, or that I played for you in the beginning of the video, you're saying, oh, all white people are racist. And you basically should be, just assume that you're a racist. No, that's just ludicrous. That is a ludicrous statement. And I do not agree with that. And I know, back to my original point, and I could go as far as back as Candace Owens had a hearing. She actually testified in the hearing. And what happens is, when you, like, say for instance, if a shooting happens and they mention something, well, how they was inspired, sometimes these people are required to go in front of some type of judiciary committee.
I just have to say that I object strenuously to your use of the word hilarious. To me, this feels a lot like your reaction to being named in one of these manifestos. Now, you're, of course, not responsible for the words of somebody writing that document. But I do think that laughing at it is a real problem, because these are real families that are impacted by this violence. And I think our efforts towards talking about this have to start from a place of mutual respect, which is what I've heard from this side of the table. Now, the reason we don't have those numbers, I want those numbers as much as you do. But to say the numbers don't show something is simply not supported by the data.
Okay, and I have 38 seconds left, Ms. Mulligan, if you want to respond within that time.
The only thing I would add is that it's in the name. Terrorism, domestic terrorism, it terrorizes us. It terrorizes us in our homes. It terrorizes us in our schools. And to the points made by the other panelists, it is disproportionate to its impact on any individual life, and it's not.
You reject the idea it's something that doesn't matter, or it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely reject.
Okay.
Ms. Owens, obviously this is a gang up on you. You know, we're giving these witnesses the ability to do a rebuttal on you, and so I find it unfair, Ms. Ballou. I mean, candidly, for you to show mutual respect and then you to go after Ms. Owens, it's not appropriate. So, Ms. Owens, you can have 4 minutes and 34 seconds to respond. However, I'll yield to.
Thank you. I believe, Ms. Owens, when you used the word hilarious, it was referencing the fact that no one had asked you a question. It wasn't to the subject matter of the hearing. Is that right?
That is correct.
And to have another witness insinuate something that is not accurate is just not appropriate, Mr. Chairman, for how witnesses are supposed to behave in front of this committee. I also think you didn't say it doesn't matter about the subject matter of today's hearing. You said there are other subjects that matter as well, and maybe we should spend some time on those. Is that accurate?
That is correct, and they matter much, 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 much more. And I've said that. I said that in my opening, and I will say it again. You know that white supremacy and white nationalism ranks nowhere near the top of the issues that are facing Black America. And the reason that you are bringing them up in this room is because it is attempt to make the election all about race as the Democrats.
Not in my case, Ms. Owens. I'm sorry, please do not characterize my motive.
Mr. Chairman, it's my time.
Yeah,
it's my time.
You've got your time, Mr. Menez. I'll give you 3 more seconds.
Every 4 years, you bring up race, and you knew exactly what I meant when I said hilarious, and you just tried to do live what the media does all the time to Republicans, to our president, and to conservatives, but you tried to manipulate what I said to fit your narrative, okay? I was not referring to the subject matter that is hilarious. I said it's hilarious that we are sitting in this room today, and I've got 2 doctors and a missus, and nobody can give us real numbers that we can respond to so we can assess how big of a threat this is, because you know that it is not as big of a threat as you are trying to make it out to be so you can manipulate. And the audacity of you to bring up the Christ Church shooting manifesto and make it seem as if I laughed at people that were slaughtered by a homicidal maniac is, in my opinion, absolutely despicable. And I think that we should be above that. To try to assign reality or any meaning to a homicidal maniac writing a manifesto which, by the way, let the record show, also stated Spyro the Dragon, the child's cartoon, as a source of inspiration. He also cited Nelson Mandela as a source of information. I don't think that Nelson Mandela has inspired mosque shootings. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong. You would rather assign meaning to a homicidal maniac than to actually address the things that I said today that are actually harming Black America. Number one, father absence. Number two, the education system and the illiteracy rate. Illegal immigration ranks high, abortion ranks high, white supremacy and white nationalism, if I had to make a list again of 100 things, would not be on it. This hearing, in my opinion, is a farce. And it is ironic that you're sitting here and you're having 3 Caucasian people testify and tell you what their expertise are. Do I know what my expertise are? Black in America. I've been Black in America my whole life, all 30 years. And I can tell you that you guys have done the exact same thing every 4 years ahead of an election cycle, and it needs to stop.
I am sending all my good to you. I will talk to you soon.